Hong Kong gets 2 more giant pandas as Finland says it can't afford its own bears. The pair gifted from Beijing increases the total number of pandas in the Chinese territory to 6, while Finland will return its 2 bears to China more than 8 years ahead of time. Hong Kong. Pandas and cuckoo, a gift from Beijing to Hong Kong, arrived in the Chinese territory on Thursday to much fanfare, 2 days after Finland said it would return its own pair over mounting debts. Hong Kong officials welcomed the giant pandas at the city's international airport with a red carpet on the tarmac and panda toys. The Sichuan-born male and female will increase the total number of pandas to 6, the highest ever in the financial hub. Some lawmakers called on the government to use the animals to boost tourism and create a panda economy by building themed promotions and infrastructure. The 5-year-old pair will be housed at the city's Ocean Park theme park and remain out of the public eye until December, officials said, so they can get used to their new habitat. Hong Kong leader John Lee said the pandas would soon receive new names through a public contest organized by the government. Workers at Ocean Park have prepared a giant enclosure for the new arrivals complete with bamboo leaves planted in Guangdong province. An cuckoo's arrival comes just after resident giant panda Ying gave birth to twin cubs ahead of her 19th birthday. She was the oldest panda on record to have successfully given birth for the first time, Ocean Park said. The cubs are still under intensive care and are expected to make their public debut in a few months. Meanwhile, Finland will return 2 giant pandas to China in November, more than 8 years ahead of time, as the zoo where they live can no longer afford their upkeep, the chair of the zoo's board told Reuters on Tuesday. The pandas, named Lumi and Pyri, were brought to Finland in January 2018, months after Chinese President Xi Jinping visited the Nordic country and signed a joint agreement on protecting the animals. Since its founding in 1949, the People's Republic of China has sent pandas to foreign zoos to strengthen trading ties, cement foreign relations, and boost its international image. The Finnish agreement was for a stay of 15 years, but instead the pandas will soon go into a month-long quarantine before they are shipped back to China, according to Atari Zoo, the pandas' current home. The zoo, a private company, had invested over €8 million, $8.92 million, in the facility where the animals live and faced annual costs of €1.5 million for their upkeep, including a preservation fee paid to China, Atari chair Risto Sivonen said. Recommended. The zoo had hoped the pandas would attract visitors to the central Finland location, but last year said it had instead accumulated mounting debts as the pandemic curbed travel, and that it was discussing a return. Rising inflation had added to the costs, the zoo said, and Finland's government in 2023 rejected pleas for state funding. In all, negotiations to return the animals have lasted 3 years, Sivonen said. Now we reached a point where the Chinese said it could be done, Sivonen said. The return of the pandas was a business decision made by the zoo that did not involve Finland's government and should not affect relations between the 2 countries, a spokesperson for Finland's foreign ministry said. Despite efforts by China to aid the zoo, the 2 countries in the end jointly concluded after friendly consultations to return the pandas, the Chinese embassy in Helsinki said in a statement to Reuters. Dog swallowing fish hook, a nightmare come true. A dog owner spent £7,500 on 2 surgeries to remove a fish hook from his pet's stomach. Ripley, a 2-year-old Doberman Chinese Red Dog Cross, swallowed the hook while on a walk by the river with him. Owner Robert Dawson, from Bardney, near Lincoln, described the incident as devastating and is urging anglers to make sure they do not leave items behind. A local vet said they had seen more animals swallowing fish hooks this summer compared with previous years. Mr. Dawson said he had noticed a fishing line hanging out of Ripley's mouth while on a walk near the river. He said the line came away after he tried to remove it, meaning Ripley had swallowed the hook. East Links emergency vets tried to remove the hook during surgery, but the first attempt failed. Mr. Dawson was in a daze when he was told, "I was just very, very sad and upset, with just hope to hold on to," he said. A second surgery was successful, and Ripley is recovering well. But Mr. Dawson has urged anglers to leave the countryside as they found it. I would plead with you to not drop litter at all, whether it be fishing gear or otherwise. We all want to enjoy the countryside, he added. Can be fatal. Jess Dan, clinical director at the veterinary surgery in Louth that treated Ripley, said they had noticed a few more fishhook-related incidents this year. She said, "Normally, it's something we probably only see 2 or 3 times a year. This year, we've certainly seen 4 or 5, just over the summer months." Ms. Dan said swallowing a hook can be fatal for animals. She said, "If hooks are stood on, that's less likely to be fatal. However, if they swallow them, they often become lodged into the stomach. Because of the nature of a hook, you can't just pull it back out. They will puncture through organs internally, leading to peritonitis, sepsis, and eventually death." She advised pet owners not to attempt to pull hooks out themselves and recommended calling a vet immediately. Elsewhere in Lincolnshire, Alice Brown's French bulldog Bruno got his paw impaled by a fish hook near the River Ludd in Louth. He had started flinging his leg in the air after walking over decking near the river, she explained. "I had a look and realized he's got a fish hook in his paw. Instant panic. I didn't know what to do," she said. "It is quite serious. It was lucky, really, that we got it out, otherwise it'd have been a trip to the vet." She said such incidents were distressing, not just for the owners, but mainly for the pets. Ms. Brown said she had no problem with people fishing by the riverside, but to prevent something like this happening again, she urged anglers to be more mindful and maybe a little more responsible. Dog dies after swallowing discarded fishing gear. A man whose dog died after swallowing discarded fishing gear is asking anglers to dispose of their equipment safely. Colin Walker said his 10-year-old dog, Ruby, swallowed 2 metal fishing hooks and a nylon line on Grooville Beach 2 weeks ago. Vets managed to remove the gear from the Leon Burger, but they could not save her life. Mr. Walker said dogs, wild birds, and people walking barefoot were all at risk, and he asked all anglers to remove their used tackle from the beach. Colin Walker with dog Tilly on the sofa. Colin Walker with dog Tilly is asking anglers to dispose of their gear safely. He said, "Maybe it needs a few notices up on the slip here. They got various other notices about what you can and can't catch. Maybe they need to reinforce the fact that fishermen should be careful to take their stuff back with them. In fact, the Code of Conduct, which is issued by fisheries, actually states that they should either put it in the bins or take it home with them." Mr. Walker said he had since found sharp fishing gear sticking up from the sand, including some fairly nasty lead weights with hooks attached, basically discarded. Fishing hook. Colin Walker said he had since found sharp fishing gear sticking up from the sand. Bob Tompkins, an environmentalist, said dogs coming into contact with hooks happened a couple of times a year in Jersey. He said, "Usually the hooks will be entangled in the seaweed on the strand line, which is an area that dogs are drawn to as they scent mark there. But there is also the chance of bits of dead fish that will draw them in as well. It used to be that it was trot lines strung across a stream or river with hooks at intervals, that were the most common cause, but these are now banned. It is something that not just dog owners need to be aware of, but parents with small children and for rod fishermen to ensure wherever possible that they do not discard line or hooks." Constable Mike Jackson said trot lines had been illegal since 2017 to protect juvenile fish and to avoid hurt to dogs. He said, "Trot fishing is something that needs to be deterred. It's difficult for the areas to be policed 24/7, but the department will take action if they do find indiscriminate trots being placed on the beach. A good lookout will be kept, and we look forward to hearing reports from the public if they do find them." Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Your support truly means the world to me, and I'm incredibly grateful that you're here. Whether you're a longtime subscriber or new to the channel, I appreciate every single one of you. Creating content for this community is a passion of mine, and your likes, comments, shares, and views are what make it all worthwhile. If you found value in this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and reach more amazing people like you. And if you're not already subscribed, consider joining the family by hitting that subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you never miss out on future videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What part of the video resonated with you? Do you have any questions or suggestions for future topics? Your feedback and ideas help me improve and keep creating content that matters to you. Once again, thank you for being here, and for being part of this incredible journey. I can't wait to see where this community goes together. Until next time, take care and stay awesome. See you in the next video.